Hello, I'm Mark Sebanc. Welcome to my Patreon page. I'm a writer, a wordsmith with a long and checkered career as a novelist, editor, and translator. Throughout my literary journey, my worldview has been bound together by one unifying thread. For as long as I can remember, I've been a sort of antiquarian traditionalist, a neo-romantic idealist, a literary outlier, forever marching out of step with the prevailing ethos of modernism. I've spent the better part of my life in rebellion against a dreary, stifling world of literary disenchantment. Like many a scribbler, I'm an intellectual generalist, although my academic training is as a philologist, as I hold degrees in Latin and classical Greek. Primarily, however, I'm a novelist whose brief runs to pre-modern, quasi-historical worlds, but I've taken a rather unique, countercultural creative path. I call myself an old Western man, the term that C.S. Lewis used to describe himself at a lecture he famously delivered at the University of Cambridge. I've made this epithet my own simply because it summarizes, with a pointed concision, the entire thrust of my life's work, namely, to recapture and perpetuate the unique spirit of that extraordinary group of Oxford literary traditionalists known as the Inklings. Most notable in their ranks were, of course, C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. The Inklings were highly accomplished, erudite men of no small sophistication, who had thrown down the gauntlet against the sterile distortions of modernity, arguing for a worldview far removed from the ugly iconoclasm that had overtaken literature and, in fact, all the arts by the middle of the 20th century. Theirs was a creative field of vision grounded in the timeless modes of traditional storytelling. In other words, they rejected the cult of the ugly and the nihilistic, which is a cankerworm that continues to lie at the heart of literary modernism. Instead, turning from an anarchic culture of desecration, they found themselves in a work of restoration. In exalting the notion of story, as found in timeless tales ranging from the epics of Homer to the productions of one of their own comrades, J.R.R. Tolkien, and encompassing the works of masters of narrative like Sir Walter Scott, Robert Louis Stevenson, William Morris, John Buchan, and Rider Haggard, they were engaged in what was essentially a guerrilla struggle to regain a world of enchantment, a world steeped in truth, goodness, and beauty, what we call the transcendentals, a subtle but palpable sense of good and evil, of discrete moral boundaries, of a justly ordered beauty and proportion underlies these works. Overwhelmingly, we've lost this grounded ethos in the productions of our day and age. I want to do my part to revive it and to help people recover a lost way of seeing the world, a way which, sadly, has become almost as foreign to us as that of medieval men and women, our ancestors. Famously, C.S. Lewis described the wondrous and beautifully architectonic medieval conception of the cosmos as the discarded image, an image now long superseded by our sterile, scientistic conception of heaven and earth as a place of soulless, mechanistic order into which we as moderns are thrown like driftwood on a sunless ocean. My aim, through the novels that I have written and edited and labored over, is to reintroduce readers to the discarded image by way of the art of narrative conceived of as a vehicle of truth, goodness, and beauty. It's almost incredible to think that this was a worldview that prevailed in a literary universe very near to us in time, but with closer affinities, ironically, to the enchanted pre-modern landscape of the Middle Ages than to our own. With this Patreon account, I'm asking you to support me in my work as I struggle to recapture this once enchanted world that we have lost.